Hey, what's up, guys? Weaver here. The last time we met, we were flowcharting conditionals. We were working on our field trip navigation, which you should have come up with some things similar to this. Here's an example algorithm. If you got that everything your autonomous vehicle needed to circle back to its decision making all the way back to the beginning, you were good. I mean, I know it was a little bit daunting and kind of like mind blowing, but you always begin by asking, "Have I reached a museum?" If yes, then end of program. If no, then you go to the next step, and the next step was move forward, or can I move forward? If yes, then move forward, and it goes until it reaches the end of a street or to an obstacle like a street sign. Okay. And then it's got to circle back and ask the questions all over again. Have I reached a museum? If no, go to the next step. Can I move forward? And I believe on that scene, you could not. You needed to turn left. So you keep going until it says, "Can I turn left?" Then it turns in its place. So, yes, turns in its place. Then go back to step 2. Have I reached a museum? No. Again, can I move forward? Yes. So as long as you had a flowchart that kept an arrow circling back to the beginning to answer those sequence of steps, then you're good. So again, begin, have I reached the museum? If yes, then end. You're at the museum. If no, go to the next step. Next step is move forward. Can I move forward? If yes, then move forward. Wait, then move forward. Um, then you go through the sequence of steps again. Step 4, is there a stop sign? If yes, then you wait 5 seconds. Then you go back to step 2. Have I reached the museum? If no, then you go to the next step. Can I turn left? If yes, turn left. Go back to step 2. Have I reached the museum? If no, go to the next step. Can I turn right? If yes, then turn right. Go back to step 2. Have I reached the museum? If no, go to the next step until you finally arrive. Am I at the museum? Yes, end program. Here's an example flowchart. I kind of like the way PLTW did it, but there's some things. I mean, this repeat all steps. It should actually just be an arrow going back to the beginning. That's just my opinion. So begin. Am I at the museum? Yes. End. No. Move forward. Move to the next step. Is there a stop sign? No. Can I turn left? No. Can I turn right? Then this arrow should be circled back to the beginning again. That's just my belief on how it should be, but there's multiple different ways that you can do a flowchart. But they did, so if I can turn right, then yes, then turn right, then repeat all steps. I would take the arrow and bring it back to the beginning. So it just goes to, am I at the museum? No. Then next step, am I at the museum? That's what I would do, okay? But that's just an example. So hopefully you understood that we're using conditionals. This is the way an autonomous vehicle is programmed to think in loops, constant loops. So it brings us and transitions us into activity 1.5, which is what you're going to be working on. You're going to use your germ guide app that you've started, and we're going to add conditions. Okay. So now that you've learned how to write algorithms and conditional statements, you will finish the germ guide app. As you work to develop the app, you will practice using flowcharts to represent, which we already did, to allow your app to make choices. So first step, access your app inventor, log into your Google account, username. You just go to your app inventor and open up your projects for the Germ Guide app. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay. So when you originally coded your Germ Guide app, we did the home screen already. You did your crowding screen by following along PLTW. If we look at our block section, if you did the bare minimum, that's where we are right now. Okay. If you did when Beezles, I can't even speak. When measles click, call measles player and start. When meningitis click, call meningitis player and start. And we talked about this in class. And you did that for your vector screen and your waterborne screen as well. We talked about this in class. The problem is that when you deploy the app and you click on the malaria button and the dengue button, or if you click on the malaria button or the measles button and the meningitis button, they talk over each other. So some of you I challenge, because you're quick with coding, I challenge you to try to figure out to get it to stop or pause, right? And a lot of you accomplish that task. But some of us have only done this. And we're going to move on and try to correct this. Instead of having the audio play on top of each other, we're going to use some conditions. And even those of you that completed the task of getting it to start and stop, you may not have used a condition. So I'm going to show you what we need to do as far as conditional statements. Here's a current app behavior. I just explained that. They're talking over each other, okay? But we want to use a conditional statement. So we're going to review this flow chart that represents a generic algorithm with a conditional statement. You guys already know conditional statements. If the condition is true, yes, then this is going to happen. If no, then this is going to happen. Okay? So what I want you to do is to start here. We're going to try to correct that current behavior and make it better. We're going to enhance our app. So in the PLTW curriculum, it says in App Inventor, you can specify conditional behaviors with an if and if-else blocks, which are found in the control drawer, okay? Boolean logic, I like that word Boolean, okay? So the if block uses Boolean logic. Well, what is Boolean, Weaver? It's a form of mathematics in which an expression is reduced to either true or false. So Boolean is true or false. If this is true, then this happens. If this is false, then this happens. Okay? So if the condition is true, the app performs the actions in the then sequence of the block. If the condition is false, the blocks are ignored. The if-else block also uses Boolean logic to test a given condition. If the condition is true, the app performs the actions in the then sequence blocks. If the condition is false, the app performs the actions in the else sequence blocks. Okay, so they gave you an example. Okay, the app needs to determine whether to play or pause the measles audio file when a user touches the measles button. Okay, so again, if we look at our designer mode, if we push this button, measles plays. If we push this button, meningitis should play, and pause the measles button. So, is the measles player playing or not? If it is playing, the app should pause the measles audio file. If it isn't playing, the app plays the measles audio file. Okay. Okay, so what it's saying is if the audio file is playing and then I click the button, the measles button again, it should pause. Okay? It should pause. If it is not playing and the user touches the button, it needs to play. Okay, so we're going to do it. This is what PLTW wants you to do. So if you follow along in the PLTW curriculum, step 9 says click the measles player start command and delete the block from the event handler. So if I go back here And here's my call measles player start. I'm going to click on that, highlight it, and I'm just going to delete it. It's gone. Bye-bye. Okay. Step 10, drag an if block from the control drawer. So if I play this, it's going to tell me what I need to do. Let's play that one more time. Control if. Okay, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go control if, and I'm going to drop it in. That's what it said to do. There we go. 10, place it in the measles click event handler. Okay, I did that. 12, use the blue icon with the white gear on top to turn the if block into an if else block that contains this blue icon is considered a mutator block. Mutator blocks can be modified to meet your needs. Mutator. Okay, click the gear. Else if else. Else if else. Okay, so I'm going to try that. Click the gear. I'm going to separate this event handler here just so I can focus on this one. Let's work on this one here. Okay, it said to click on the gear. No, can't see it. Still can't see it. Okay, click on the gear. Else if else. Oh, that's cool. Look, it did it for me right there. Else if, then else. Okay. Right? Is that what I was supposed to do? Let's see. Let's make sure. Click the gear. Else if, drop in, else. Done. Okay. Step 13. Drag the measles player is playing block from the measles drawer and add it to the if header of the event handler. Let's try that again. Okay, measles is playing, drop it in the if. Okay, measles is playing. So if I go down to measles player, measles is playing, drop that there. Okay. Okay, now they want to call measles player. So drag a call measles player. Right? That's what it says. So it's this one. This is purple one. Call measles player. I need to look for this one here. Okay, so I'm going to go to MIT. Call measles player. It's going to be under my measles player. Oh, I forgot which one I'm. Okay, call measles player. Pause. Make sure it says pause. There we go. Drag that. Drop it there. Okay, so let's think about this. When measles button click, do this. If the measles player is playing and then we click the button, the measles player should pause. Okay, I think I got it. All right. Okay, it says drag measles player start block and add it to the else header. So it's going to go to the else. I need a measles player start. Measles player start. Go to measles player and grab a start. Oh, do I have too many? Oh, they have it if then else. So mine needs to be, I can actually take that out. I'm going to take that else if out and just have else. All right, is that what they have? If then else. If then else. Okay, I'm on the same page as PLTW. This is what you're doing as well. Maybe you're doing it along with me, or maybe you're going to go back and do it on your own by following the curriculum. Okay, 15 says, test the updated behavior. Well, I'm pretty sure it works, but let's make sure. Okay, so I'm going to try that out. I'm pretty sure it works. So again, it should be, if I click the measles button, is going to play the audio. But if I click it again, it should pause. Okay, so I deployed it onto my phone. Maybe you deployed it on your device or your neighbor's device, your partner's device. But it should work. So if I click measles.
Measles is a highly contagious respiratory infection
if I click
caused
again,
by
it should
a virus.
pause. Okay? Which I now need to do it.
Bacterial meningitis is a contagious viral infection that causes inflammation
for the
of
meningitis
the membranes
button.
that cover the brain and spinal cord. People who have
Because I
bacterial
haven't
meningitis
coded
will
that yet.
experience headaches, fever,
So
fatigue,
what do I need to do?
irritability, and a stiff neck. Bacterial meningitis is treated
Because
with
meningitis
intravenous
won't
antibiotics.
stop or pause if I click on it. It just continues to play. So I need to do the same thing for the meningitis button. So here's what I would do. I'm going to highlight on the outside here. I'm going to duplicate it. And it's not going to work right now because it's the same thing. I already have a measles one, right? So I need to change it. So I wanted to do the same thing for the meningitis. So meningitis, if meningitis player is playing, meningitis, and meningitis. It should work. Hopefully. But I still have a warning here. What's my warning for? Yeah, I changed everything, but it still has a warning. You know what? I just realized this. I didn't go back. My original meningitis button is still down here. So basically, I need to just delete that one and everything should work properly. Oh, there goes the warnings. So again, now with those conditional statements, I should be able to hit the meningitis button.
Bacterial meningitis is a contagious
plays.
viral infection that causes
Click it
inflammation
again,
of the
should pause. Okay, so that's working. That's our conditional statements. If measles button is playing, if it's clicked again, pause, else start. Same thing with meningitis. Okay, so we should have gotten that to every time the user clicks on the button, it will play. If I click it again, it should pause. Okay, so I did that for both the measles and meningitis. Let me put it here.
rash, flu-like symptoms,
Measles,
and high fever. There's no specific
pause. Meningitis,
bacterial meningitis will experience
click
headaches.
again, pause. But there's still a problem. I mean, I know PLTW just wants us to do this, but we need to do a little bit more, in my opinion. Because if I click this and it's playing, let's say I accidentally hit the other button,
Lots of rest, fever, fatigue,
they're still both playing over each other.
Measles is a
I would have to make sure I double click to make sure it stops. But if I accidentally
respiratory infection
hit another one, they're still playing over each other. I don't want that.
Skin rash,
so what I'm going to do,
there's no specific.
She's still talking. It's driving me crazy. What I want you to do now is, again, when measles click, if the measles player is playing, then it's playing. If I clicked again, then measles player pauses. And it also calls it to start. But let's do this. If I accidentally hit the meningitis button, so let's go to meningitis player. And I'm going to throw in meningitis stop right under here. And then I'm just going to duplicate that. And I'm going to throw that under here. So I'm going to change this to measles. Let's see what that does. So again, if the measles is playing, then call, and if I click it again, then measles player pauses. Otherwise, it's going to start. If the meningitis is clicked, then that should stop. Well, if the measles is clicked, then the meningitis should stop. Well, let's try it. All right, here we go. I can't see. Hold on. Measles.
Specific treatment for measles other than drinking plenty of fluids and
if I
lots
hit
of rest.
the meningitis, measles should stop. Well, hold on. It played out.
Measles is a highly contagious
If I hit
respiratory infection
meningitis,
caused by a
measles should
virus.
stop.
Causes inflammation of the membranes that cover the brain and spinal cord. People who have
If
bacterial
I hit
meningitis
measles,
will experience
meningitis should
headaches.
stop.
With measles, you can have a total fever, fatigue, body skin
Okay,
rash,
that works.
flu-like symptoms, and high fever. There's no specific treatment.
Okay, that works. That's what I want you to do. Then take a screenshot, throw it in there into my document, and then be done for the day. Weaver out. Just kidding, I'm back. I forgot to tell you, there is a little extension. Let's say you were coding and you might use this for a further program later. You can use your backpack. So if you drag this and hover it over the backpack, your backpack should open and you could drop it in. So if I go there and drop it into my open backpack, oh, right there, it should be in there. So if I go here, and I could be working on any program that I'm working in. If I think I need this block code, I have it in my backpack. I just drag it out. I drag it out and then I just tweak it to what I want it to do in that program. Okay? So it just basically saves it for you in your backpack. And if you're on a new project, it's always in your backpack. So try that out. Throw some things into your backpack or your book bag. That's what I say. Your book bag. Throw it in your book bag. All right, that's it. We were out for sure this time. Peace.